Good morning, CSL Carlsbad. My name is Reverend Dr. Lori McMacken, and it is my honor to serve you this morning. This month, we'll be talking about the soul's call, and today I'll be talking about the hero's journey, one of my favorite topics. So before I get started, why don't we pray? I invite you to close your eyes and to go within as I recognize this ineffable presence that is ever expressing itself through all and as all. And I recognize that I am one with this power, this presence, this essence of love and light and beauty for all that God is, I am. I know this is my perfect truth. This is the truth for each person here on this call. Each person is a unique, individualized expression of the whole. I'm grateful that we come together this Sunday morning to recognize that the hero's journey is just a spiritual journey, evolving, spiraling, becoming more today than we were yesterday, just recognizing that perfect call, the divine asking us to grow, to expand. And I'm grateful that each and every person will hear whatever they need to hear. They will feel whatever they need to feel and be inspired to move forward in a greater way in their lives. As I release my word into the law, knowing that it is good and it is done, and so it is. Good morning. I'm really excited about today's topic, the hero's journey. I just love this topic. The hero's journey really is a spiritual journey. It's a journey of transformation. It's a journey of something that is calling us forward in a greater way. The hero's journey is self-discovery of living a God-realized life. Joseph Campbell, who actually coined the hero's journey, he quotes, "Follow your bliss, and the universe opens doors where there are only walls." How beautiful is that? So we know when we listen to this deep call within, and we take those steps forward to answer that call, that we're always collaborating with spirit along the way. And there's a call comes in several different ways. You might be called to do something that like this is your calling. There is no other question about it. You just know. And there's other times where a calling might come to you when you see something, and I call it, you spot it, you got it. Oh my God, look at that. If I could learn that, I'd be really good at that. It's like an innate knowing that you know that you could really do something in a greater way if you just move through it and take action. Another way to get a calling is you might be doing something for a company and they ask you to do another job, and you find that you had a talent or you had a desire to do something like organizing and putting groups together that you could actually expand and grow in. And then there's another way that we get a call, and I think the Chinese call it a Ouija moment, where something happens that is unexpected and it is kind of drastic, a little dramatic. It could be like the 9/11 or the pandemic or a death in the family, that it changes us in a greater way. And so we're being called into the unfamiliar. So there's 3 parts of the hero's journey. The first part is the separation from your familiar territory. That's the first part, the separation. The second part is the initiation. And the third part is the return. Now, what I loved about Joseph Campbell is he basically coined follow your bliss. He got that from the Upanishads. And he was teaching at a women's college in Yonkers at the time. And he would tell these women, don't do what your daddy tells you to do, because your daddy's going to want you to have job security or security from getting married or anything. Just your dad wants you to have security. Don't do that. Because if you do that, you'll never follow your bliss. Because following your bliss actually means going on an adventure. It means going into unfamiliar territory. Some people teach the hero's journey as a complete circle, but I really don't do that, because you start at one point, and when you come back, you're never the same. You're always going a little bit higher than that circle. So I would say it's more of a spiral than a circle. And a spiral goes up and up and up and up, because when you come home, you're a better person than you were when you started your journey. You have more knowledge and you have more wisdom. You have something else to share with people. You can think of it as like little slices of life, something like from grade school to junior high to high school to college. And every time you come home from that adventure, you're a different person. And that was your own hero's journey. A hero's journey can be a slice of life, or it could be a spiritual experience, but whatever it is, it's a transformational expression of life. Now, the hero's journey always starts with a call to action. And Joseph Campbell quotes that we must be willing to get rid of life the life we planned, so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come. So we actually have to die to our old self of who we are today in order to become that hero of tomorrow. And our journey starts in part one with the separation, with the call to action. Something is telling us to do something great. And a hero, a lot of time, is very resistant of the call. Not all the time. Some heroes are like, oh no, I can't do that. There's no way I'm going to do that. Almost like Moses at the burning bush, where he was called upon by God to go to Egypt and to release his people. And he was like, wrong person. I'm not doing that. And after a time, Moses was able to move forward in a greater way and actually answer the call. I know that I had a call to ministry when I was doing the life visioning process, and I stopped the meditation. I said, there's no way I'm doing this. This will completely destroy my life. And the next day, my life was basically destroyed. So it had to be in order for me to answer this call. And then there's times where like this is what I want to do. And I wanted to become a professional dancer ever since I was little. It was who I was. It was what I was going to do. And not that I didn't have trials and challenges and fears to overcome, because I did, but I answered the call. So there's many different ways that we answer the call. Now, the first is the call to adventure. And then each of us has a mentor usually that helps you with this call. Someone that kind of guides you and directs you of what school to go to or which way to go, what path to take. I know that when I was in high school, there was a man named Gary Perry that was the new kid on the block my senior year. And he pointed me in the right direction of what college to go to that would be best for me in order to become that professional dancer. So you don't know, we have ministers or practitioners. We're on our spiritual path that kind of point us in the right direction of what class to take, or which journey to take, or what book to read that will enhance our journey that we're seeking in the moment. And then every time that we're on this adventure, this call, this feeling of separation, we're walking into the unknown. We're walking into a door that is dark when it is open, and unfamiliar territory, and that can be kind of scary. And that's why we do get resistance when we are called to a great adventure. But the second part is the initiation, and initiation is really the tough part about the journey, because this is when we have to go through the challenges, where we go through the tribulations. This is where we have to face our fears. Joseph Campbell quotes, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek." And boy, that is true. A lot of our fears is just dealing with our false beliefs that we may have around a situation. We might believe in ourselves that we can't do something, or we're not good enough. That's the most popular false belief. And I think I took on that false belief also. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't skinny enough. I just wasn't good enough. And that almost stopped me from becoming a professional dancer until I had that come to Jesus moment of, wow, the universe is going to correspond to what I'm thinking. So if I don't think I'm enough, then that's exactly what I'm going to get. So when I slayed that dragon, I realized, oh, I'm way enough. I'm more than enough. I really do deserve this. Then the doors started to open up for me. And then we have challenges. It's difficult to learn something new, to train ourselves. I remember training myself to dance and falling out of turns and falling out of my movements and can't remembering what steps comes next, and just retraining my mind and my body. And this is what we do when we're on this adventure. We're retraining ourselves. We're learning something new. We're moving past what we already know right here and right now. Because when you are on that hero's journey, you have to become that hero. In order to become the hero, we have to go through the trials and the tribulations and the challenges, and we have to face our inner fears. So we have a vision quest. My vision quest maybe at that time was to become a working professional dancer. And my hero was I am a professional dancer. There's something that you are, I am, because the hero has to become something, but you don't want to always be trying to become that. You want to be that which you are seeking. So a great affirmation is I am a dancer. I am a professional. I am a minister. I am that which I'm seeking to become. In the journey of becoming a hero, there's always like a special object that helps out the hero. It could be something physical or something metaphysical, right? It could be a prayer and affirmation. I am enough. It could be like an object would be like my dance shoes, my Hermes that I love so much. So you have an object or you have a physical or metaphysical object that helps you along your journey of becoming. And then there's the return of the hero. The return is when the hero returns home. The hero has changed. The hero is a different person than when the hero started. Yes, I remember when I left home, I was in a competition called Miss Dance of Michigan, and I wasn't really technically good enough to win that competition. And I think I came in second from last. And so it was years later, like 10 years later, when I actually returned home back to Michigan with the Radio City Rockettes. And all of a sudden I am a professional dancer. I did become Miss Dance of Michigan in that moment, in that day, but it was the returning of a new consciousness. I trained myself. I went through the trials and the tribulations and the fears, and I embraced what is, and I had self-confidence, and I realized, yes, I can do this. I'm the one that deserves to work all the time, working in a 20-year career. And that's part of the hero's journey, is changing your consciousness. So now you go home, you're a different person, and then you give your gifts and your talents to the world in a greater way. This is what the hero does. Like, what did I learn from that journey? How I learned that self-confidence and self-knowing is so important, and how important it is to have the right teacher and to train yourself in every single way, and to continue that training on a daily basis in order to keep up with your professionalism. There was so much to learn on that journey. And so when we come home, we've changed, we're a different person, and we're spiraling into a new way of being, into a new way of giving our gifts and our talents to the world. I would say that, and follow along with me, and maybe on a journey that you've had in your life. And I'm going to describe like my pilgrimage journey. That's always a fun journey, because it's more of a spiritual path, even though my dancing was spiritual for me because it was innate, it was within me already. But the pilgrimage really taught me a lot of spiritual lessons. So what was your call to adventure? What was calling you forward into the unfamiliar zone? And so I heard about the Camino de Santiago de Compostela from my first religious science teacher. And I thought to myself, there's no way I would ever do that pilgrimage, because I thought I had misconception that you had to knock on people's doors and ask them if you could sleep at their house for the night. And if they don't, then you have to go sleep, in the woods or in the bush. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that was my perception. And when I realized that wasn't the truth, I had a girlfriend that went on the Camino, and I watched her journey on Facebook. And then she came and saw me when I spoke. And I asked her if I could go to her house, and she would talk to me about her adventure and show me all her equipment. So me and my friend went over there, because all of a sudden I had this calling within me, like, oh, you're going to do this. And she wanted to go the following year, and she wanted to go with someone. So of course, I raised my hand because I felt that call. Now, she became my mentor, because every hero has a mentor, and she was pointing me in the right direction, teaching me how to get the right shoes, and training me how to walk properly, and what equipment I need, the backpack and the walking stick. And these are the objects that I needed. Well, at the time I had neuropathy in my feet, and I had to take care of my feet a little bit differently than most people. And I had to tape my toes, but I also used my special object is I used an affirmation, religious science affirmation. It was called Perfect God, Perfect Man, Perfect Being, Perfect Glory. And as I would walk in cadence with my sticks, I would say that affirmation over and over again. Now, I was very fearful. So think about when you went on your journey and you were fearful of what was going to happen. I was very fearful. I mean, I was going to Spain. I'd never been there before. I don't speak the language. I understand some of it, but I can't speak fluently. I didn't know if I was going to be safe. I didn't know if I was going to like the food. I didn't know, if I was going to be, violated in some way. I mean, I had so many fears. And so I insisted that we had all of our hotels booked because that was my control. Oh my gosh, tell God how you're going to control your life and he'll, laugh at you. So anyways, we did have some upsets in our housing situation, which was a good lesson for me. And when I got there, I realized I had really nothing to fear, that there's a saying called St. James always provides, the Camino always provides. It was like the universe was always embracing me and providing me with all my needs. And that was the beauty of the Camino, that I realized I didn't have to be afraid of anything. So Joseph Campbell quotes, "Opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems most challenging." By the time we got to Santiago, I realized, wow, I've got this. I can do this. All my fears that I thought I had, I no longer had. So it was our time to go home, and Ellen went home, and I told her I was staying. I was going to walk another 100 kilometers. So I stayed and I walked another 100 kilometers. And then I was so confident because I was getting better at it. I wanted to walk another 100 kilometers. So I changed my ticket again. And during that time, I was kind of shy talking to strangers. I mean, I don't seem like a shy person, I know, but I'm actually an introvert. So I had to come up with questions that I would ask a stranger, a pilgrim, in order to open a conversation up. And I wanted to learn more about the 500-mile journey, because a lot of them were coming off the 500-mile journey and they're almost to Santiago. And I wanted to learn about it because I was wondering if I had it in me to do that. So I made a lot of friends along the way, and I asked about the journey. And by the time I did get to Santiago, I realized, yes, I could do the 500-mile journey. I've completely changed. I'm no longer afraid. I'm more confident. I'm going to come back in the spring. I'm going to do the 500-mile journey. I'm a different person. And not only that, more blessings around the way. My heart opened and I just cried for about a week when I came home. Uncontrollably, I didn't know, was I in remorse? Was I upset? No, I wasn't. I think I was just kind of open-hearted and in the joy of the divine. And I was grateful because my feet didn't hurt anymore. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being, perfect Lord. My feet no longer hurt me. And my ego kind of diminished a little bit. Like I was going to come home and put together a keynote speech because I thought I could be like a $10,000 speaker. And I realized, well, why would I want to do that? I have no reason to do that. I don't need to be a $10,000 speaker. I don't need to get into a competitive field. I've already done that. What am I doing that for, my ego or what? And I also realized that I don't need as much. I don't need many things. So I got rid of a lot of my physical things, material things. Like I'm more of a minimalist these days than a materialist. So there was a lot of gifts in there, and I just prepared for my journey in the spring, and I did walk the 500-mile journey. And so I gave my gifts back to the world by maybe helping other pilgrims who are interested in the journey and telling them about it, and just my consciousness, how it had changed along the way. And that's what we're here to do. We're continue to change our consciousness in a greater way, because I know that today my vision is more about altruism, more about giving back in a greater way to the world. So a hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. That's Joseph Campbell. Of course, I don't know what that is. I have another hero's journey to go through, but I'm more interested in giving back to people and to situations in a bigger way, in a greater way. And right now, our world needs our love in so many ways. And it reminds me right now, I'm just focused on India. Pray for India, because the people there are challenged. And there's something called India chance for India that you can join. I think it's tomorrow. No, it's on Sunday, and you can donate to India for them to move forward in their greater way. So this is a hero's journey, and think about the hero's journeys that you have gone in your life, and when you feel that resistance, it's okay. It's part of the journey to feel the resistance. When God calls you to do something, you're like, oh no, I'm not doing that. That means you're on your journey to give up the resistance and surrender to the wholeness of God, because when you're on your journey, you're going to be protected along the way. Doors are going to open. And when you go through your challenges, it's like something bigger than you is going to be pushing you through those doors, pushing you through the glass ceilings. And this is the beauty of it. And when you come back, you're bigger and you're better and you're stronger and you're different and you're more expanded version of who you are. And you are the hero of your own journey. How beautiful that is. All right. It has been my pleasure serving CSL Carlsbad, and let's pray. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within as I recognize that one power and that one presence, that essence of love and light and beauty that's continued to call each person on a greater adventure to life. And I know that all my adventures that I've had with the divine spirit is one with God. It's all one with each and every person on this call. I know that all of our adventures are interconnected on the unseen side of life, and each and every person here is a divine calling of the Most High. I know there is an essence of love and light and beauty that is calling each person forward to be more, do more, have more, express more of God right here and right now and in the future, to share your gifts, your talents, your love, and your altruism with the world. And I'm grateful for this time together. I'm grateful that each and every person here hears the call and steps into the journey in a greater way as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is done and it is good. And so it is. And so it is. Listen to the call.